The following program is sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Georgetown Media in Ely, Nevada. Ely City Council meeting, April 22nd, 2021.
In order, you'll join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe our invitation is over Zoom today. Mr. Zed, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
My hearty thanks to Mayor Nathan Robertson, Council members White Pine Ministerial Association for scheduling me with invocation for the great city of Ely. I shall be reading from ancient Hindu scriptures in Sanskrit, some as old as 1500 BCE, and then interpreted in English. Bhurvubhah Svah Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. We meditate on the transcendental glory of the Deity Supreme, who is inside the heart of the earth, inside the life of the sky, and inside the soul of the heaven. May He stimulate and illuminate our minds. Adstoma Sadgamya, Tamsoma Jyotirgamya, Mrityur Namratam Gamya. Lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to immortality. Tasmata Sakta Statam Karyam Karma Samachara, Sakto Hyacharan Karma, Paramatmanoti Purusha, Karma Nevahi Samsiddhi Mastita Jankadya, Loka Sangreha Vipapi, Saptava Shankar Tumrahasi. Strive constantly to serve the welfare of the world by devotion to selfless. One attains the supreme goal of life. Do your work with the welfare of others always in mind. Om Saha Navavtu, Saha Navanavtu, Saha Virya Karva Bhai, Tasvina Vadita Vastu, Mahavit Visa Bhai. May we be protected together, may we be nourished together, may we work together with great vigor, may our study be enlightening, may no obstacle arise between us. Samniva Kuti Samna Idyaniva Samnamastu Wo Mano Yatha Vasusa Hasti. United in your resolve, united in your hearts, in your spirits, be at one that you may long together dwell in unity and conquer. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zed. We'll have the roll call.
Mayor Robertson,
Present.
Councilman Blankus, Councilman Carson,
Here.
Councilman Spear,
Here.
Councilman Allworth,
Here.
Councilwoman Beecher,
Here.
City Clerk Lee,
Here.
City Treasurer HR Director Trask, City Attorney Manlelli,
Here.
City Fire Chief Stork,
Here.
Public Works Supervisor Craycraft, City Building Official Walker, City Engineer Alberg, and Municipal Judge Coster is on by Zoom. That's all.
Here, good morning, evening.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to public comment. Please state your name for the record. You'll have 3 minutes. Pastor Wing.
That's for somebody taller than me. I want to just, I know this is public comment, so I have a few minutes to say. But what just took place, I could not stop, and that's okay. The Ministerial Association is in position to schedule people to come and do the invocation. And legally, there was no way to stop this without causing a lot of problems. But thank you for allowing the White Pine Ministerial Association to be able to do the invocations here. For I personally believe that you all need all the help from God that you can get.
Thank you for your service, Pastor Winter. Any other public comment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, on agenda item 8P7. Here to consider some verbiage proposed by Fire Chief Stewart, which states, by signing I am accepting responsibility for any debt created by this service and all collection fees, charges, and interest should this debt be sent to an outside agency for collections. Mr. Mayor, I've never seen anything this mean coming from any tax-supported entity in my entire life. Those that are economically challenged will not use the service. The fees have been set too high. I've mentioned that more than once. There will be some individuals that simply can't pay. Are you going to push them into bankruptcy? Is that what it's for? The city hasn't collected track rental from S&S Shoreline for 15 to 20 years. The city has yet to answer any questions regarding the rumored embezzlement of tens of thousands of dollars from the railroad. I'm still waiting for Mr. Allworth and Councilman Beecher. And yet, you have that verbiage for a person who's sick or injured? I'm concerned that you want to stress injured taxpayers that need help, that need medical help that is supported by the taxpayer. That proposed wording needs to go away. You need to remember your public servants and not those that are self-serving. Mr. Mayor, on April 16, 2021, I came to City Hall to get a permit that would allow me to rent my property RVs or motorhomes. I was denied and was told that only the trailer parks were allowed to do that. I told the secretary and the building official, Lee Walker, you need to start cleaning out those in violation located throughout the city and in Central Ely in particular. I'm the only person that I know of that has been issued citation for $355 if I did not evict my tenants. I complied. Well, to this day, only to see others untouched, unharmed. Why the selective enforcement? This city council needs to compensate me for my losses and stop the discrimination, Mayor. I want to see some action on that. Mr. Mayor, the city needs to go on record against locating a park near Love's Truck Stop. National study states that you do not build or replace a park near a truck stop. Locally, we have a schoolgirl that went missing back in April 4th, 2003. Just recently, we had an incident where a truck driver enticed in some way or abducted a young person, assaulted that young girl, and abandoned her on the road north of McGill, from what I've heard. Luckily, she wasn't murdered, and luckily for her, a local person saw the young girl and the truck driver leave together and reported to the sheriff's office. We need to learn from these experiences and safeguard that it does not happen again. NRS states you cannot have gaming or liquor within 1,000 feet of a school. The city and the county are treating miserably in staying in compliance, and we need to direct that to your attention, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, the marijuana facility still is not being compliant. I need some answers, Mayor. I don't want to hear thank you and no action. That's not what you got elected for.
Any other public comment? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to item 3, Mayor discussion for possible action, approval of agenda, including removal of agenda items. I'll entertain a motion on this.
I'll move to approve.
I have a motion from Councilman Carson, second from Councilman Flangus. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. We'll move on to item 4, City Department reports, and we'll start with the Fire Chief.
Nothing to report. Any questions?
No question. You get the fuel issue, Pat, solved with the engines?
Yeah, it seems like they've got it handled. They got their samples back. It looks like 90%, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that showed up in the sample, with the most of it was water. But they ended up pumping 300 and something gallons of water out of the one diesel tank. I did submit them a list of all of our filters, and they're going to purchase all the filters and bill them to the fuel company. So right now we haven't had no more issues with everything. We're still checking and draining some fuel lines now and again, but so far we got everything up and running and no basically long-term issues going on with it at this time.
So no doubt it was an isolated delivery. Then.
Yeah, it was an isolated delivery. Sounds like wherever that load come from, it sounds like a bunch of tanks in Wendover got contaminated also, so it wasn't just here that kind of got it, but it was an isolated delivery that showed up, and we just happened to be some of the first ones that got to use it.
Okay, thank you.
Police Chief? He was on. Okay. Municipal Court Judge. Judge Costa, did you have anything in additional Additionally, to report,
Nothing beyond the written submission, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
okay. City Attorney.
Just to report, on March 25th, we started a new abatement procedure with our new ordinance, and I just wanted to report on that. In our efforts to clean the city, we've sent 10 letters since that time. The individuals have 30 days to clean up the property or 5 days to lodge a complaint or an appeal regarding the letter that's been sent. And since that time, we've received 2 responses from the 10 letters, and we're awaiting a time frame to go check back to see if those issues have been resolved.
Okay. City Clerk.
I don't have a report.
Okay. City Treasurer.
Just to report, I did get the tentative budget sent off. We have met with the union to do negotiations. Our first meeting, we have a next one scheduled for next Wednesday. And I'm working on filling some open positions that we have.
Coco. In the financials, in the landfill, you set up an account so we can track costs of recycling our tires, which is good. It's $28,000 so far this year. The metal revenue is $34,000. The one thing you pointed out to me, and maybe it's not a big deal since there could be, we're not tracking the revenue on the new, when tires are delivered by the ton now. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, that's that one Kurt put out, $240 a ton, whatever. Do you think that's I shouldn't maybe Michael Thomas was, is that really something we should track too? Because if it isn't for the metal sales, $34,000 a year, we'd be going in the hole on recycling, you know. I mean, it's covering it right now, but it's the mountain of tires still out there.
Yeah, what we can do, and we would have to start it at the beginning of the fiscal year.
Okay.
I can separate that out into a separate revenue account so that it
Okay, that sounds
shows the
good.
difference.
Okay, thank you. You're excused.
I'd like to ask a question. The amount of tonnage that they're digging up during the highway work and whatnot, and those trucks with those several wheels on, going to the landfill and dumping, are we charging them to do that?
I have no idea.
I think it should be,
That'll be a question for our Public Works.
in my personal opinion, I'd like to say that they're bringing in fill over some of the areas, and our people don't have to work that hard.
Yeah, I'll let Mike.
What was the question?
Wants to know.
Councilman Flangus was wondering if we are charging Q&D to bring those loads of overburden material into town.
I don't believe so, no.
No, I think we would.
We waive that because that is a state, it's an NDOT project.
I would say it shouldn't be waived because they are boarding everyone. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure.
You're next. What do you have to report, Mike?
I'm going to just clear up some rumors on the lights for the veterans. I've heard about it again today. I met with Terry Gus roughly 2 weeks ago. We turned on the lights and there was 20 of the bulbs that were out. And at that time, he looked in, the only way we could, as a piece of equipment out of Elko that would reach him, he called and told me that it's $2,500 each way to get it here. So that $5,000, and then it'd be another, probably $2,000 to get them all taken care of. And at that time, I said, you know, it doesn't make sense for us to put all that in there for 4 nights when we're going for SNPL money to take them out, and they need to come out anyway. So he was going to look into it himself and see if they could replace them. In the meantime, Hank Blair calls me, and he's the president of the Veteran Committee. And he was like, no, we don't need to put money into these lights. We're not going to put money into these lights. All I want the lights for is to light the place up, which I told him it will do that. And he's going to come down probably next week. We're going to come out here in the middle of the night, turn them on, get a better look at it. Mount Wheeler has 4 power lights plants, and all they want them lights for was to arm the wall itself. So really, truly, these lights don't need to be replaced. All they are is for security, just enough to light the place up.
Okay.
And that's.
Mike, are those lights going to stay on all night long?
Yes.
For security?
Okay.
Speaking of lights, How's your LED streetlight replacement project going?
Great, we've done 60, right, as of today. And then I got a list of